Hello again. This is a continuation of the meditation uh, part. This time I'm going to mention a couple of things because a lot of times people have problem calming their mind. The reason is because the mind is scattered all over and we continue to have thoughts, and these thoughts will not end. They end only when we are in very deep sleep. They don't even end in REM sleep, nor do they end in superficial or stage 1 and stage 2 sleep. So the mind can be quieter or made quieter if we follow certain principles of living in our life. So in theology, they mention what is called Ashtanga Yoga, Ashtanga, eightfold pathway, and that includes several things. So some of them are external and some of them are internal, and I will be telling you about them. Please note that the detailed description of this is available in many books. One of the books that I had completed, which is available on Amazon under books, under my name Kirtane, Kirtane, is called Patanjali Sutra Yoga. This apparently was written several hundred years before the Christ, and the original scripture is about 5 or 6 pages with total of about 190 plus one-liners or sutra. Sutra means thread, yoga means union. So Patanjali Sutra Yoga is a way to achieve nirvana through individual threads that you can attach to each other. But so if you are interested, you can look for that book, Patanjali Sutra Yoga. There are many authors who have done commentaries on this. I have some understanding, not a lot, but I have done also the same book with under the same name. As an author is my name. So if you want to Google it, you can look at Amazon books and you can find it. So now coming back to the eightfold pathway. So I'm going to go through these because they are much more in detail that will be described at each segment. So the first one is called Yama. Yama is restraints. That means what you should not do. Then there is a Niyama, which means rules or observances. Then there is an Asana. Asana means the position or how you sit. Then there is a Pranayam. Everybody has heard about pranayam, which is control of the breathing. And there are techniques which are described, and I will talk about it when we come to that particular point. The next one is called Pratyahar. Pratyahar means withdrawal of the senses. Now it is easier said than done, but that's one of the things that is talked about. Then there is something called Dharana. Dharana means holding on to something. And we talked briefly about it as how you keep your mind concentrated on, say, cross or Jesus Christ or a statue or a picture of any particular deity. Then comes the dhyana. Dhyana is actual practice of meditation. And then the last one is samadhi, which is achievement of perfect getting together with the God or the principle. And the samadhi has various stages, which I'm not going to go in detail at this time. But remember that the first 5, which is the Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, and Pratyahar, which means again in English, restrain or rules that you should not do certain things, then observances or the rules that you should follow, then the position or the posture that you should do while you are meditating, then breathing techniques or pranayam, and then the withdrawal of the senses. These are external. These are external. While the internal, that means you're going to do it yourself, is holding a object or a statue or cross, then dhyana, which is meditation, and then the last one is achieving the samadhi, are internal because you're going to do it yourself. I'm going to talk briefly about the first one if possible, because there are several of them that are there. and each one has a different meaning. And I think one can understand it. I'm going to enumerate them first, and then we will talk about some of them. So the first two are the one where people have difficulty or don't know what they are. In the yamas, or what is called restraints, there are 5 different areas. One is called ahimsa, which is non-violence. Next one is satya, which is telling the truth. Asteya, which means not stealing. Brahmacharya, celibacy. And aparigraha, that means non-hoarding or not collecting when you don't need it. So these are the 5, and we will elaborate on them at one time. The next one is niyama, which has also 5, which is purity of mind and body, called sauch. Next one is santosh, that means satisfaction. Next one is tapa, which is again concentration. Then swadhyaya, study of scriptures. Next one is ishwar pranidhan, unconditional surrender to the Lord. So the niyama has 5. So let me just talk briefly about ahimsa or non-violence. Again, these do apply to our day-to-day activity and behavior. The ahimsa can be done by mind, speech, or physically. So I can beat somebody. That would be, of course, physical violence. I can say a lot of bad things and hurt somebody. That would be a verbal abuse or verbal violence. And I can think about somebody badly without actually putting it in action, and that would also be a violence. Please note that it could be direct or it could be indirect. For example, I could beat somebody myself, or I can employ somebody, give them the money or a contract, and beat somebody else. The same way, the verbal abuse could be direct or indirect, and the mental is always direct, or you're doing it. Now, sometimes we all get mad and think bad things about somebody, and one single thought, because we are mad, does not make it permanent or does not have the same impression as if I wake up every day and I sleep, go to the bed and think about bad things or violent things about somebody. That certainly is not good. Now, the physical violence could be also done, or we also talk about the diet. So I could myself kill an animal for food, and I could have a butcher kill an animal for the food. I could be cooking a food that is killed by somebody, but I'm not going to eat it. In theological way, all these things are considered violence. I know some of you who eat meat would be surprised by this and may not want to listen anymore. But the calmness of the mind comes when you have no violence in mind, body, or speech. So you have to understand that we have to avoid this, because otherwise the effects will not allow our mind to be calm, nor would we create zero karmas or neutralization of karmas. So we have to consciously sometimes put in action a plan where we are not going to talk bad about somebody, even though the thoughts may come, and certainly avoid violent actions. So it is a little bit easier for most of us, because we're not brave enough, to avoid physical violence. So physical violence is easy to control. Speech violence is a little bit difficult to control. And mind violence, or thinking badly or violently about somebody, is extremely difficult or almost impossible. But as much as we can reduce this, we will not have the repercussion from it, and that will help us in concentration. I will talk about this. The next one would be the Satya, which is telling the truth, and rest of them next time. Thank you for listening. If you want to know details of this, you can look at Patanjali Sutra Yoga, or you can go to the Amazon books and type my name, Kirtane, and you will see the book. Thank you. Have a nice day. Hope you like it.